What's up, YouTube? Today I bring you my review for Super Mega Baseball 2, title for Xbox One and PS4 users, and free this month for Games with Gold on Xbox One. With a few delays and not much competition in its way, how does the second iteration of this baseball series handle? Let's find out. Graphics up first. I will say, although the game has a cartoony backyard baseball look to it, the graphics are pretty incredible. The animations are smooth as butter without any hiccups, and compared to its previous title, Super Mega Baseball Extra Innings, the graphics have had a huge improvement from lighting, player models, stadium, and field textures. The players no longer have these watermelon-sized heads that are as big as their torso, with baseball bats resembling big plastic ones that you buy and play with as a toddler. Instead, the bats have been replaced by more official-sized bats that you're used to seeing on TV, and the players' bodies are proportionate to their head size. First thing I noticed when I popped in this game was just how much better it looked than the previous installment. I immediately noticed the small details in uniforms, players, and just the overall atmosphere. The light shines through the dome roof, casting shadows in the outfield. And speaking of the field, the ballparks are much bigger than before. And as I say that, I'm not sure if the ballparks are actually bigger or if the player models are smaller. But whatever the case is, the ratio of player size to field is more realistic in terms of being arcade or simulation. If you can see here with the screenshot of the first game and then look at Super Mega Baseball 2, there's a huge difference. With this Super Mega Baseball 2 game, it's just more of like a simulation size feel instead of, it's like when you're playing NBA Jam and the court's small. That's kind of how the first one was. Let's talk about gameplay. Honestly, gameplay is pretty much the same as before, but that's actually not a bad thing, as there wasn't really too much to be fixed at all in the first game. Pitching and batting controls are the same: A to hit, X for a power hit, square is going to be power hit if you're on the PS4. Pitching has seen a slight change, just in the type of pitches you can throw. Every pitcher no longer has access to all the pitches under the book, so different pitchers have different options and types of pitches they can throw, as well as the amount of pitches they can throw. The game seems to be moving away from its very arcade approach to a more simulation-style baseball game. It's still arcade though, it's no MLB The Show, but it's also no backyard baseball, despite its looks. The difficulty is based on a system referred to as ego, and how big your ego is results in how much tougher the game will be. So an ego of 1 will be incredibly easy, while an ego of 99 will only be for the true hardcore gamers who are up for the challenge. If you play on ego 20, the game can become a bit boring, as home runs happen pretty often, and when you're on the mound there isn't really too much thinking involved. However, I decided to jump into Pennant Race, which is an online mode I'll talk about later, but it placed me at Ego 60, and does this change the game for the better? It's weird to think that changing the game difficulty can basically create a new feel to the game, but it does. The pitches come to the plate faster, making solid contact isn't nearly as easy, and when you're on the mound, aiming your pitch reticule is more difficult as well, resulting in more thrown balls and less pinpoint accuracy that you have from the lower difficulty. Player speed is also super important when you're playing at these higher levels, because I feel like there was a greater separation from the slow players to the fast players, which hurt me in a couple games where I had slow base runners playing someone with speed demons. At those high difficulty levels, I recommend playing with a team who has good contact at the plate and fast. But playing at a higher level feels like a new game in a good way. I feel like I had more to think about on the mound when selecting pitches I would throw, and a little bit more strategy involved in where I would try and place them on the plate, in which order I would also try and throw the different pitches. Overall, at any level, the game is a ton of fun to play. Game modes. Game modes is a hit and miss, as the options on this are pretty slim. You have your standard exhibition mode against the CPU or online. You have an elimination mode, which allows you to create custom tournaments. And there's also a season mode, which has a really nice customizable feature to your liking, where if you want to create your own league with different teams, divisions, conferences, set your number of games for the season. You can set the format for the playoffs as well. So if you wanted, you could create your own MLB league or high school or whatever league you want. I mean, the options of setting your season up are almost unlimited. You can get pretty creative with it. But the problem is once you start season mode, however, it's pretty bare bones. You can do all the basics like track stats, standings, and league leaders, but the lack of a franchise or GM mode means that the off-the-field fun stops there. There's no recruiting, no drafting, no management. And I think the lack of franchise mode is a pretty big disappointment. And I think that's the one key feature in this game that could set this above the rest. Maybe next year, but for now, sadly, no franchise mode. Now, what I think is going to keep people coming back is the new pennant race. It's incredibly fun, ever-changing online mode where you battle it out with other players in a race for the pennant. The resets every 5 days, and you can only play with the standard teams that come with the game to keep that playing field even. It's an addicting mode, and I can see myself spending most of the time playing this. You start off playing 4 placement games, and what this does is the game will figure out your skill level, and it's going to place you in a league with 14 other players, and then that league lasts for, I think, 5 or 6 days, and you can play however much or however little you want, but at the end, whoever's first place in that league wins, and then you can move up to different divisions with better players and like better class rankings. So that's a really fun mode to play. It's kind of addicting, actually. I found myself just wanting to play game after game after game. I had tons of close ones, had a few blowouts, but I really enjoy the pennant race. It's a fun online mode, and I'm glad they implemented that because pennant mode is the game's replay value. Because you can continue to come back to this as long as you want, and it's just going to keep updating and updating and updating. And it's almost like if you're familiar with Rocket League, how you have, your bronze and silver and gold and platinum, diamond levels. That's pretty much how it sets it up. Well, you can see like how many games back you are. So you can see your 3.5 games back, 2.5 games back, whatever the case may be. And then when the pennant season is over in that week time frame, it'll either go up or down a tier, or class is what they call it in this. And that's how you move up. Customization. Player customization is back and better than before, and we also have a new team editor as a new addition. The team editor is pretty awesome, customizing everything from the main logo to what's going to be on the front of your hat and jersey. Typical features like changing the style of pants and shirts to have stripes in different colors and various other patterns as well is there, but the logo creator is what really caught my eye. You can use various shapes, letters, or pre-made icons to help design the logo you want, and if you're up for it, you can even make replicas of the MLB logos like I did with the Boston Red Sox. You won't get an exact 100% replica, but it's pretty damn close and very user-friendly. It took me about, 3 minutes to figure it out, and it's very simple and straightforward with changing colors, resizing, and moving items and positioning them wherever you want. So props to the developers here for making this fun and easy to use. Player Creator saw some improvements as well, adding on glove and bat customization as well as walkout songs, batter stance, and batting rituals when stepping up to the plate. All the core hairstyles are there, including some funky ones, and every player on the team can be tailored to your liking, so you have the ability to run wild with your imagination. Only disappointment I didn't see is a way to share created teams online. So if you wanted to create the MLB or college teams, it's going to have to be up to you, the individual, as I have not seen a way for players to share their creations with the community. Final verdict. As you all know, I rate my games on an obscure, ever-changing scale that relates to real-life facts instead of numbers. So where does this game stand? I rate this game the Mayweather vs. McGregor boxing match. The game hovers somewhere between simulation and arcade, and although it comes out strong throwing punches, and even taking a lot of people by surprise, it doesn't have a lot in its tool belt to pull out a win. It puts up a glorious effort, but in this day and age, you cannot make a sports game without a franchise mode, especially if you're trying to veer away from the NBA Jam and NFL blitzes of the world. All in all, just like the McGregor fight, it's definitely worth it. For Xbox users, it's a no-brainer since it's free, and it's much smoother than RBI Baseball 18, and it even looks better. For the PS4 users out there, you'll have to take in consideration what you want from a baseball game. If you're more of a casual fan, this game might be perfect for you, with all the customization and the easy gameplay, and the games go by pretty quick. But if you're a hardcore baseball fan and you're managing minute details and climbing the ranks, then I would stick with MLB The Show. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Peace.